Rob Kendall speaking with Brian Woodard, the head coach of the Plainfield Quakers. Coach, how's it going?
Doing very well, Rob. Yourself?
Doing just great. Obviously, look, Friday night ran into a tremendous team. Coach, I'm not sure I've ever seen a team run those, I don't know, what do you call them? Jet sweeps? You're the football expert. To that level of efficiency and dominance. Whiteland was really good.
Yeah, they execute their schemes very, very well. Coach Fisher, who's been there a really long time, 2005 was his first year there, has ran that offense ever since. The jet sweep with the power game off of it is very challenging to defend. I think what makes this group so good for him is, I think we mentioned it last week, just the number of seniors that he has, experienced guys that have been in that system. We made some mistakes early on, some alignment mistakes that made it easier on them than it should have been, and that's been an issue all year. It's one of the issues that we continue to bang our heads against the wall in the coach's office, as far as we install our plan. We talk about it, we walk through it, we rep it, we drill it on the field, and then sometimes Friday nights, sometimes people call that the fog of war. Our players don't execute the things that we practice, right? We call that drill, practice, game, and it's not carrying over to the game. So, that's disappointing, but it also is a positive that I know we can play better. Didn't happen Friday night at times. I thought there were spurts here and there, but that phase of what we do as coaches, we got to find a way to connect better with our players and get them to have that carryover from practice to games.
And I was thinking about this yesterday watching the IU game, in which it seemed like every offensive play for IU, it was obvious where the Michigan guy was going to come from, and yet IU couldn't stop him. And I was thinking, man, that was so similar to Plainfield. It was like you guys kind of knew, it seemed like, what play they were going to run, and yet it just didn't matter in many cases because they were able to get that edge. And once those guys got the edge, they were so fast.
Yeah. So, part of, what we do, and we talk, all the time about, or at least maybe we don't so much on this show, but, one of the coaching cliches is football is a game of feet and inches. And what that really means is, I can, like, as you just said, I can know where the ball is going to go. I can have a pretty good idea as far as what is going to happen in this play. But if I'm not lined up right, if I'm not in the right gap, or if I don't use the right technique, it can go and it can be a really big play. And so to me, that's what, a game of feet and inches means. And that's what we didn't do in the first half, that we did a better job in the second half. I mean, you look defensively when we come out in the second half and we get 2 stops right away. Some of that was, we made some adjustments. We've got a good coaching staff. We did a few things that we were trying to do during the first half, but you just don't have minutes upon minutes upon minutes to make those adjustments on the sidelines. So we got those adjustments made at halftime. We played better, but offensively, we weren't able to get the same kind of production that we got in the first half, which, we talk a lot about complementary football. Sometimes when our defense doesn't play well, we need our offense to step up, and vice versa. At some point in time, when you play really good football teams, you got to be playing well in all 3 phases. And, special teams was a huge issue Friday night. Just going to say what it is. A lot of people had questions for me after the game and over the weekend, like, why did you onside every single time? We did not onside every single time. Unfortunately, our kicker had a couple hit the ball a couple times, and we had some communication issues. The ball wasn't supposed to go where it was supposed to go. I mean, into the first half, it's a 21-14 game. I mean, we're getting the ball coming out the second half, and we kick it short. That was not the design of what was supposed to happen. So, coaches make mistakes, players make mistakes. I'm certainly not putting it on any one side of the ball. I'm just emphasizing the point that when you play good football teams, you have to play really well, and you can't make mistakes on offense, defense, and special teams at the level we made them.
This is why I love, and I've loved for all these years we've done this show, because what you just said. So we're doing the game wondering, what is the coach, what is the process of, trying to get the ball back on these onside kicks? Is it because, hey, their offense is so good? And we were talking about that on the air. it never even dawned on me because like when you watch a college game or certainly a pro game, you never have to worry about the kicker is going to like inadvertently squib the football. And that's something you as a high school coach have to deal with, that it never even dawns on people watching the game that these are high school kids and sometimes they make mistakes that we don't even
Sure,
think they're going to
sure.
make.
Well, and there were a couple things that went into it. And by full admission, I mean, they were doing the same thing too. Whiteland wasn't kicking it deep; they were trying to onside. So I don't know what was going on their sideline either. But so just a real quick, kind of peek behind the curtains how we do special teams. So on a kickoff situation, we divide the field into nine quadrants. So imagine, going from left to right at the first part's 1, 2, 3, then in the middle, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have words that will allow us to, in theory, put the ball into any of those zones. And so, and our kickers do a really good job of prepping those. Sometimes the number doesn't get communicated correctly. So let's say L7. L7 is the deepest part, right, left side. And maybe we want to go L7 squib, right? So, well, sometimes squibs don't come off the foot or come off right. So L7 squib looks like L1 crappy onside. So to your point, those things happen. And you know what? I mean, what the heck? I mean, stuff happens. People's like, well, are you trying to get too cute? Just kick it deep. Again, you're dealing with a high school kid into a 15-mile-an-hour wind. Sure, we'll kick it deep and let it hang up there and let him return it for a touchdown. I mean, you're considering all these things that do factor into the kicking game, which we spend a lot of time working on. Special teams is very important to us. So I know I can speak, for myself, obviously, and Coach Sloan, our special teams coordinator. We were heartbroken. We were disappointed because we spend a lot of time and work too hard for our special teams to appear to look that poorly coached.
My mind is blown on that because, and this is why I would never be a coach because I'm not nearly smart enough to figure this out. But it is so amazing. That is just another example of when people like in the stands are yelling and saying, I could do a better job. No, you couldn't. I mean, because you can't, there's nothing you're going to do that is going to change the outcome of what you just described, because you're absolutely right. Given the speedsters that team has, if you kick it directly to them, there's a decent chance they might run it for a touchdown, and then everybody's yelling at you because you kicked it directly to the guy.
Yeah. You're just trying to, when we as a staff before every, when we're kicking the ball off and they're in kickoff return, obviously we've done the work on film previously, but sometimes special teams film is kind of hard to see. So what we're looking for is which one of those zones can we put the ball in where they don't have a guy, and maybe we can steal a possession, combined with, hey, we've got the wind at our back. We can bang this one into the end zone, which we did at the onset of the game. So it's a little bit of a chess match. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it didn't. They go down and score, make that a 21-14 game. And we just never really seemed to recover offensively after that.
Yeah, that's a great reminder for people. It's like we're recording this on Sunday. I'm getting ready to watch the Bears play the Vikings, and the Bears will inevitably get beat by like 30 points. And I will say, man, that coach is terrible. Eberflus is awful. I could do so much better. No, I couldn't. No, I couldn't.
Well, and I'm not going to defend those guys. They make a crap ton of money. I have zero amount of empathy for those guys that do it at the NFL level. And people in the media start, oh, I just hope they're okay. Okay. They just got a severance check for $9 million. Yeah, my heart's breaking for you, brother. So you keep barking at them. I'm with you all
Perfect.
the way. Bear down.
All right, real quick. I did want to take away a positive from the game, which was, again, save for, as you said, just a missed kick at the end of the first half. It's a very close game going into the locker room. I thought your team showed a lot of grit, especially on offense, to go down there and get those 2 scores because their defense was nothing to sneeze at.
No, I mean, they're one loss team, former number 1 ranked team in 5A. I mean, we talked on this show how good they were going to be. I really liked our plan offensively coming in. We've gotten incredible performances from guys like Isaiah Miller and Grant Irwin and Noah Hessong and Charles Vanderbush. A couple guys, there's 4 guys in there. Noah's done it at running back a little bit. Obviously Hunter's the guy throwing the ball. A lot of really good things happen for us offensively after kind of a shaky start. We get, like you said, we go down, we get 2 scores right away, and and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm thinking, look, we've got things going offensively. We're going to make some adjustments on defense and get them stopped. And we did. We just couldn't maintain that same level of consistency onto the second half. But, I told our guys after the game, and this, it was not coach speak. This was just me being real and how I felt at the time is, this team that we have has such incredible highs, such really good moments in all three phases. But our highs are equally offset by our lows. And when it gets bad, it seems to go really bad. And that's something that our staff talked about on Saturday. How do we change that? How do we help coach our kids through that? I don't have the answers for that right now. But if we can just, bring that low up, and not have those moments where we go for 10 or 12 minutes of bad football. When you play against really good teams, 10 or 12 minutes of bad football, gets you down 3-4 scores. So, that's something we're aware of. We're trying to work on it, trying to coach our kids through it and hoping to get better at it.
When you go into a locker room, and I know I've asked you about this over the years, you talk about adjustments at halftime. Like, what is that like? Are you just writing things on a whiteboard? Hey, Fred, you got to do this better. And Sammy, you got to do this better.
Yeah. So our half times, as you might imagine, are all scripted by minutes. What players are doing, what coaches are doing. I have kind of a checklist that I have for offense and defense, that some questions that either I ask them or I ask kind of, just listening, kind of work my way through. But like for us, as a defensive coach, my first question is what's the one thing that we absolutely have to stop in the second half, or is there one formation that's been hurting us? And then, conversely on offense, it's what are the things that we're doing really, really well that we need to come back to, or is there something that we worked on in practice that we haven't used yet? So there's some key questions that coaches that we're in the coach's office, we're doing those things. And then we meet with our players. Like in the case of this past Friday night, our adjustments, we brought our linebackers into the coach's office. We got on the whiteboard. We drew a couple things up, make sure they understood where they were supposed to be lined up, what their run fits were. Are there any questions? No. All right, let's go. So it's a little bit of a combination of some coaches meetings, but then ultimately conveying that information to the players to make sure they're ready to go in the second half.
So it is not like a John Belushi speech in Animal House to get the Deltas fired up. Like none of that ever takes place.
Who's with me? There's some speeches. There's some things that are said. But it's I said it last week to our players. If you're looking for a pep talk, I don't know. But no, I think emotion is part of that, getting your guys ready to go in the second half. I do think there's part of that, but no Belushi from me.
All right. Before we get to next week, real quick, and this is in no way to take away the teams in your sectional, because there are some fine teams, clearly, as you've played 2 of them so far this year. But there's nobody in your sectional that you're going to see that has the size, strength, and speed of a Franklin or a Whiteland or probably even a Martinsville next week. Is there some solace in that it makes you guys a much better team heading into your sectional?
That's a great point. I mean, for years, I've talked about this with our players, which I've never done before. I've never really talked about a sectional this early, but it is what it is, right? I mean, for years and years, whether it was Ron Colley or Cathedral or some really good Zionsville teams, of course, Decatur Central, and Decatur Central's with us again. I mean, there's just to be flat honest and use the Sagarin ratings. Yes, our sectional is not as good in terms of Sagarin ratings, in terms of state rankings, where it has been in the past. It's also a 4-team sectional, so we know we've got a bye week, so there's some advantages to that. But here's the deal: we need to start playing better right now. If we are waiting to that week of whoever we draw tonight in the show or the IHSA tournament draw, whoever that team is, if we wait till that Monday, okay, now it's time, we're really going to get it going. I don't like our chances. I don't care who it is. I don't care if obviously we're going to have to play 2 of those teams again. We beat one, we lost to one. I don't know about McCutcheon. I know what the record is. I've not seen any film on them, but we can't wait anymore. and I told our players that at the end of the game on Friday. I reemphasized it Saturday morning. This is a good football team. We have to string together some quarters. We have to put together the right things, put those pieces in place so that we can have success here in a couple of weeks. So yeah, it absolutely is a good thing. And I hope our players are excited about it.
All right, let's thank the sponsors who make our broadcast possible all year long. CCB Contracting, Geodis, Gannell Financial, Julia Berberich of Remax Centerstone Plainfield, Kyle Burnfield, mortgage lender at Flagstar Bank, Team Turley, Fairway Mortgage, Bailey and Wood Financial Group, African Plum Home, My IT Indy at myitindy.com, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Beacon Sign Company, Jeff Brown Photography, Karen Alexander Photography, and Whitlow's Towing. All right, Coach, regular season finale on the road at Martinsville on Friday night. What do the Artesians bring to the table?
Oh, we just got through talking about what a fine football team Whiteland is. Well, Martinsville beat Whiteland, so that if you're a score compare, that tells you all you need to know about what Martinsville has. Martinsville returns maybe the best wide receiver quarterback combo in the conference, and they've got a couple of really good wide receivers. There's a couple guys that their kid likes to throw to in particular, but no change from them in terms of scheme, what they like to do. Very well coached. They are a get up to the ball, hurry, freeze, look to the sideline, get the best play call and go. Lots of RPO, so lots of run pass option where they're reading the linebacker. If he comes forward, they're going to throw it behind him. If he drops, they're going to hand the ball off and run. Very kind of a score in bunches kind of a team. So you're gonna see lots of points attempted to be scored by those guys. They play what we would call a 3-3 stack defense. That means 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers with a cover 4, cover 5 shell, and lots of blitz. So the exact same Martinsville team schematically you'll see. I just think they're doing it with better players this year, more experienced guys.
How much of this is Martinsville? How much of this is preparation for sectionals? As you mentioned, I know over the years we've done this show, you don't really even want to talk about sectionals until the regular season's over. But how much is there anything you do different in week 9 that you do from weeks 1 through 8?
No, not at all. Maybe in a weird kind of a situation where we didn't have a bye week and we had a new opponent and you had to do something kind of weird there. But no, definitely not since we've got a bye week. I mean, we'll actually take some days off, once we get into that bye week. So no, it's all about Martinsville. They've got our full attention. We're going to have to do some things schematically on defense to account for what they do. Probably the biggest thing again for us is to stay on the field offensively. That's a great defensive game plan. Don't let their offense get off the sidelines. But to go way back, no changes, no looking forward. It's all about week 9.
And obviously we will have sectional coverage, whoever that is. Coach, I will give you dealer's choice because it's your program. Do you want to do the coach's show next Monday, or do you want to wait a week to do the coach's show before the week of the game? It is totally your choice.
Oh, let's go again. Let's get it rolling. Let's stay consistent.
All right, perfect. So we will be back here next Monday for the coaches show. We will recap the game against Martinsville. We will preview sectionals, and then we will obviously have the sectional broadcast here for you as well. All right, before we allow you to mention somebody or someone's who make Plainfield football what it is, once again, want to thank the sponsors: CCB Contracting, Geodis, Gannell Financial, Julia Berberich of Remax Centerstone Plainfield, Kyle Burnfield, mortgage lender at Flagstar Bank, Team Turley, Fairway Mortgage, Bailey and Wood Financial Group, African Plum Home, My IT Indy at myitindy.com, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Beacon Sign Company, Jeff Brown Photography, Karen Alexander Photography, and Whitlow's Towing. All right, Coach, as you usually do, let's end the show with someone or someone's behind the scenes who make Plainfield football what it is.
For sure. So, we talked last week about it being senior night, and there, a lot goes into that. Wanted to say a special thank you to the parents that, and I don't know their names, so my apologies. But if you're listening, you know who you are. All of the parents that helped set up the reception for our senior parents before the game, and made the pictures and got the balloons and ordered the cookies and the coffee and all the just the little things to make it special for those parents. And I know this is a rite of passage kind of event. Senior night in the fall for a football family is a pretty meaningful thing. So I was happy that our volunteers were able to make it a little bit more special for our senior parents. So thank you very much for that. I always couldn't do it without our parents for sure, but just a special thank you for those individuals that helped set up.
That's the thing, Coach, is that people don't realize, and we've talked about this a lot over the years, you are essentially like a CEO of a corporation when you're a high school football coach. Certainly for a school of any size, your job is so much bigger than just coaching the team. And just like, you don't have the paid employees at your disposal like that a Colts or a major college does, or even a small college to some extent. All of this is basically volunteers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 100%. You got people that are involved in this profession. We're not here for the money. We're not here for the status. That's for sure. This is 100% about the kids and helping prepare them for some other thing down the line. And, part of that preparation is involving parents. Parent participation over the years has gone down for a lot of different reasons. So the ones that we do have that are really engaged and really help, it's just so meaningful, so important, and we're so very thankful.
All right, Coach, let's get a big win on Friday night. We'll talk to you next Monday to recap the regular season and preview sectional action. Good luck on that draw and good luck Friday night.
Appreciate you, Rob. Thanks so much.